Hello everybody. There's another topic I wanted to talk about, and this is goes past it's for homesteaders but in preppers, and this is something that I get impassioned about, and that's the state of our economy, the political state of our country, the financial direction of where we go as a country, a world, and as individuals. And y'all all know that this world has been globalized to the point of where everybody's watching everybody. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing. We're tied into people on the other side of the planet. I got people in Singapore and China and Korea watching my channel because I talk to them, and some of the nicest people in the world. But I never thought in my lifetime before this that I would be having dialogues with people from these countries in any kind of way, because I'm in a little bitty old wooded place in the middle of southern Louisiana that, you know, I don't really get out too often. But we've got a problem. I know everybody knows we got a problem, but I do not fully think, I don't think people fully understand or realize how desperate and how imminent and how devastating things are going to be in the near future. Now, it's always a caveat to this. Not for everyone. Not for everyone. Some people it might just be a little harder. Some people it's considered the end of the world. That's what I told people when we first started seeing the thing that we're dealing with in medicine right now, in medical community. Well, my daughter even said that, y'all act like it's the end of the world. I said, no, I don't act like it's the end of the world. I hardly ever wear a mask. I wear it at my work, and then that's about it. And that's because they pay me, and they mandated to wear that if you're going to work there, and I want the money. But I am certainly not scared of this virus. I think if you catch it and it's the end of you, you caught it and it's the end of you. I mean, I know people are like, oh, you have a different if it's someone you love. No. I fully know that we are all on our way to the grave. We're all gonna die. But I don't feel like living my life behind closed doors in a lockdown, under a mask, behind a mask. I don't feel like living like that. If you do, then you wear it. If I don't, then I don't. You stay away from me, I stay away from you. But it's a natural order of things to go walking around in a normal way without putting yourself in a bubble. I don't know. Yeah, everybody's gonna have an opinion. Everybody's gonna have their way. And if this ever is the end of me, it'll be the end of me. This was the end of the world for some people. Just like when Mount Vesuvius went off, it was the end of the world for everyone in Pompeii that was still there. Herculaneum, it was the end of the world for people in that city. That's the one where both those places, they dug up the bodies, and the bodies turned to carbon, and they had an impression underneath the volcanic ash, and then it filled with plaster, and it's kind of like they made plaster lifelike images of the moment those people died. That was the end of the world for them. But you know, people on another continent who were living, they didn't even know that the earth had burped. So it's not, everything is not always the end of the world, and that goes for the financial and socioeconomic problems we are about to see come out in full force. It's imminent now. I hesitate to ever say these things, and I hesitate to get into mass discussions without anyone outside of my circle about what's coming. And I remember back in the 1990s listening to people prophesize about what globalization would do and world bankers were up to, and they were spot on. And they, you know, people wear the signs around them, the end of the world is coming, and they've been wearing those signs since the dawn of time, metaphorically, if you understand what I'm saying. And literally, but it's here. The end game to emulate a Marvel's movie. The end game is here. It is here, and there's going to be a battle of sides. And watching that movie, my daughter and my wife always laugh at me because I always say, man, I'd want to be Thanos, if y'all know anything about the Marvel's movies, because my daughter loved the Marvel's movies, and I did too. I thought they were enjoyable. Sometimes you just got to check out with your mind. And they're like, you want to be Thanos? He's evil. I said, no, man, the guy's just misunderstood, and he's just going about it in the wrong way. His methodology is all messed up. And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, well, in a lot of places there are too many people, and some of these people are bad and aggravating and need to go. And they're like, how would you make that decision? I said, well, someone's gonna make that decision one day. It's coming. I would like it to be my Lord and Savior, God, because when you tie in science and you tie in religion, they both work together. When places get too much to what's called carrying capacity, where the land cannot support the mouths that use it to feed off of, there is a drastic and sudden population crash. And it'll reduce to way below carrying capacity. It'll go so far, it won't go to where it was ideal. It'll go way down to the bottom. Almost every one of them will be wiped out because of disease, pestilence, starvation, malnourishment, and you apply it to each ecosystem. For bacteria, it would be one thing. For vertebrates, it would be another thing. For people, it would entail socioeconomics, it would civil unrest. It's on a macro scale and a micro scale. You have to see how it would do. We'd end up in war, shooting each other for food. We'd knock ourselves down to the bare essence of survival. We'd be back to living in straw huts if we reached that kind of carrying capacity. The world is coming close to that. And guess who is going to implement the reduction? It's not gonna be God. And everybody's saying, God does everything. Of course he has his hand on everything. But God allows good and bad to coexist. And he allows them to balance the way the laws of nature are. If God wanted to just wipe out the devil, I'm sure he could do it. I'm sure he could do what he wanted to do with that. But he allows this to go on. And in this nature of the way the world goes, the way we live, you prove yourself as being on one side or the other. And these people who are about to change the world, who are about to change our lifestyles, our socioeconomics, our financial markets, they are not good people. They are self-serving, and they think there are too many people in the world. A lot of these, this is how they think. A lot of these people have got to go. And I'm sitting there thinking, I wish we had some benevolent people that were enlightened, that were in charge of how this would go, because maybe we could teach abstinence rather than throw it into the wind and fornicate and have as much unprotected sex. And I know people are going to be like the Bible and all of that, but my views are I'd rather have a planned child than have 10 unplanned mouths that are not necessarily wanted or will be cared for. We need to learn how to control ourselves and slow down and have a more logical system of increasing our species. And I'm not talking about population wise, but in forwarding our species without just reckless abandon breeding. I know that sounds bad because it's like cattle, but that's my feel on it. The wrong people are having more kids than the right people, because the right people understand you shouldn't do anything in wanton excess. So that's a lot of explaining up to that point, and then we get into what are the bad people getting ready to do. Well, it's been being put in place for many hundreds of years, and it's kind of, how the heck they plan this for hundreds of years? Well, it starts with greed. It starts that's where everything starts, with greed. And the first people that started it, they were greedy to an extent, and their extent of greediness was, we don't like the fact that we can't handle people's money. So they created banks, and they knew that they could make money off of other people's money. Why shouldn't I make money off of other people's money? It went all the way through, and if you go back and watch another video where I say they live, we die, I explain federal banks, but you can also look this up all over the internet and see how federal banks work. The federal bank is not a federal institution. It is a private bank that is not good. It's evil. It's run by bankers and pretty much giant multinational corporations that have, the CEOs and founders have so much money, we don't even know some of these people are. We don't know them all. The players are sometimes hidden in the background, and the people you think are the rich ones are just the puppets. The leaders of countries are puppets. No one really matters. That's why when people were, oh, Trump lost, all is lost. They were going to do it whether he was in office or whether Biden's in office. It doesn't matter. The only thing is now that Biden is in office is that they're going to be able to, now that Biden's in office, they're going to be able to control him, and he's very manipulable, I guess is the word, and he'll help them put this into place, and they're thinking he'll probably get a large amount of people to go along with this. And what it is that they're doing is they're creating a one world monetary system. Some people call it an SDR system, a special drawing rights. Some people call it a digital currency. I'm not really talking about Bitcoin, but Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies has a place in this, so I'm going to tell y'all that later. But your dollar, your American dollar, is about to go away. You're still going to have it, but it's not going to have the power that you think it will have. The American dollar as a whole is not going to be the world's currency anymore. It's over. They're already starting it. It's going to be mostly a centralized currency that they can control, and centralized digital currency. See, that's the difference between cryptocurrencies and what they're going to create. This cryptocurrencies as they have them now are decentralized. No one controls them. No one can manipulate them. They go where they go. You can't go to one place and shut it down. It's all over. Now people, you shut down the world, you shut down electricity, it's over. Well, if that happens, the whole world's in there. Yeah, we're back to clubbing people with wooden sticks and going around and trying to, you know, find fig leaves to put over our nakedness. We're not going to be caring about money. That's extreme, but okay. So let's forget the whole world shutting down electronically. Let's just say we move on and we continue. They're going to control the monetary environment of the entire world. So us having this nice posh lifestyle, you might not think you have a posh lifestyle in this country, but you do. We, as the owners of the monetary system that the world looks at as the world's currency, we have lived quite a nice life, and it's about to stop. The rest of the world's not going to fare too much better either. Don't think y'all getting out, oh yeah, this is going to be great. America's not going to be in control of everything. They won't think they're so high and mighty. You don't get the power. The people who are going to get the power on this is going to be those entities, those particulars, those 1%ers, those multinational complex corporation organizations and stuff like that. Their CEOs, their founders, their leaders, their stock members, their stockholders, their board of executives. They'll be the ones to make the decisions on how the world works after that. You will just be a slave. People in other countries, people in this country. And it's all about the change. You're like, how the heck do you know all this? Because it's been happening slowly. It's like the boiling a frog in a pot of water. It's just been slowly happening. People don't pay attention, and the next thing you know, you belly up and you're being cooked, and then you're gonna get eaten. It's been happening, and it hasn't. This is the thing. If a person, say you have a neighbor down the street, you know, 2 blocks away, and the government doesn't like what he's doing, and they forcefully enter his home, storm his property, take everything, take it away, and throw him in the gutter and leave him shirtless and penniless, and say, if this checks out, we'll be back and you might get your stuff back. But 10 years later, they still going through their government checks on him. He ain't never recovered. Well, that happened to him. That didn't happen to you, and you're not going to go stand up for him and stand by his side. You're going to try and stay your butt out of it for the most part. I hope they don't do nothing. I don't want them coming over here and doing that to me. But he didn't do nothing. Maybe it was a mistake. People don't want to get involved. If it's not on their doorstep, if it's not on their seashore, if it's not on their driveway, they're not going to get involved. And that's what happens. People don't get involved. When they take something away from someone else, another country, another people, they don't get involved. When people stand up and resist and they knock them down, y'all can go back and look. The Branch Davidians, Ruby Ridge, the place in Oregon with what's his name? Lavoy Vinnigan, the Bundy Ranch. When they do something like that, and the Bundy Ranch was different, they kind of got together and they stopped it. But let me tell you, it wasn't going to last forever. The government just moved on because they didn't want to deal with a headache for a little bit. But if they don't like something someone's doing and they see a group of people getting together, they're going to come up and squash them. And that's where the problem therein lies. We don't come together as a people. And when the day comes after these people take over the financial and monetary system, and they're doing it, it's happening right now, we're all going to wake up and say we need to do something about this, but it's going to be very late in the hour, and it might be too late. Now comes the part where, hey, the person who's giving this talk, you know so much. I don't say I know so much. I've been watching it, and I keep my eyes on the wall, and I'm a student of civics and economics and history. I like to learn from it. What do we do to stop this? All right. I don't have the end-all be-all way to stop it, but I'm telling you now, you need to learn how to create your own food. You need to change many of those dollars that you have, that every day you wake up is worth less than the day before when you went to sleep, over into assets that are meaningful. You always hear preppers talk about silver and gold. Well, that's one avenue. But land, dirt, place to create, place to be safe is vital. A means to protect those things you own. And you determine how you want to protect yourself. I got my way, and right now it's very hard if you want to go down the way of using firearms and stuff, because ammo is almost impossible to buy. And if you didn't see that the last time this happened, and this time it's different. People are like, it'll come back. There might be a little bit comeback, but it is different. People realize what happened, and every time it shows up, it's going to be gone. That's why I got canning materials. I buy that now. You better get it. That's going away. One other asset, I mean, you could buy stocks, but I don't trust the stock markets because it's totally manipulated too. And the people that we're worried about are the ones that are controlling that. Silver and gold is like that, but that's in the SLV and the paper market. The physicals are not going to be, they always will be worth something. They should. And if they're not, then the whole world's trashed and nothing matters anyway. I am going to discuss something for you people that are homesteaders and preppers that you've heard about it. I've seen a few of y'all discuss it already. I've been dealing with cryptocurrencies for quite a while. When I first saw Bitcoin and I tried to make my first buy, it was at $33.33 a coin. I was staring at the computer and I'm trying to figure out how to buy it, and it just got so frustrating, I just gave up. The next time I had an inkling to look at Bitcoin again, it was in the 400s, and I felt like just vomiting because I was like, I would be so rich right now. And I gave up on it for a while and I didn't care about it. Then the next time it came to be was probably around 2015, 2016, beginning of 2017, up in that time frame. It was right before I bought this house. I started dealing with cryptocurrencies again, and I started learning about what's called altcoins. There's an altcoin market. It's cryptocurrencies, but it's not the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or XRP markets. It's the markets where coins, that one of them I like is called Theta. Another one I like is called VeChain. Now, you will not agree with the reasonings for having or creating some of these decentralized coins, but the fact of the matter is, these are the ones that make it and have a usage are going to be used in the future in the decentralized economy. There'll be a centralized and this will be a decentralized economy. You had better start learning about cryptocurrencies. You might say, I want to be a simple farmer, I don't want to be anything. You had better learn about cryptocurrencies. Everything we do will be blockchain. The seeds you want to buy will be individually, not packets, individually tracked with the blockchain. You will be individually tracked on the blockchain. If a piece of you comes off, and like say an amputation, it will be inventoried and tracked. Everything on this earth that they can inventory will be inventoried. That's a usage, something for a usage or anything like that, will be inventoried on the blockchain. And one of those is VeChain that's doing that. Christian from Ice Age Farmer talks about how everything is going to be, it's not going to be like a purse that's inventoried and tracked on a blockchain. It's going to be the purse, the buttons, the stitches, the handles, and any of the metals on it. It'll be inventoried and be able to be tracked back to its essence, to where maybe the silk was the threads, the nylon and the threads was created, to where the leather was grown from whatever animal, to the metal that was mined from an ore. It will be able to be tracked and monitored all over. That's how super computerized and artificial intelligence is going to come into play, because you're going to have quantum computing that is going to be needed, and they're doing that. That's going to be needed to track all this, and they're going to track everything, and you're going to be tracked like that too. If you don't do something that they want you to do, they'll shut you down with a flip of a switch. If you know how right now, say you miss your bill and you go and you argue, or you have something that you don't like and you go and you argue, and you just tell them, I'm not coming back here anymore. If someone files a complaint to you, the complaint goes to the top and they deem you a risk, or you need to be reprimanded, they'll just flip a switch and shut you down. So if you have the centralized digital currency, it's going to become credits. You are going to be shut off. You will not be able to buy, purchase, or even partake in society. You won't be able to enter shopping centers. You won't be able to enter any stores. You won't be able to drive. Your car won't start. You won't be able to shut your electricity down. You will be X'd out of society. And that's how it'll be done. That's how the control is going to be done. They'll be able to track everything you did, where you go, how you live. You're going to be owned. You will be owned, and you will be a slave. That's where this is all going. But if you can maybe decentralize some of your worth, you might have a chance. And we might be able to stop this by doing that, to buy the decentralized currencies and use them in our communities amongst ourselves. So instead of being beholden to that multinational corporation's food center or food distribution center or commodities distribution center, we call that Walmart, or Amazon, you may be able to say to a friend, hey, I have this, okay, 1, silver, 2, gold, or I have something of monetary value, of real value that you need, jars, lids, chicken eggs, fruits, vegetables, breads. Or you might be able to say, I have a currency, I can just send it from an address to your address, and you now have it, and we can use that as our means of exchange, circumventing their centralized means of exchange. So cryptocurrencies may actually have a reason to be, to avoid being fully enslaved by that central digital currency that is centralized. I know it's hard to understand and it's hard to explain, but people, you have to try and understand this. I'm trying to help y'all. I'm trying to save y'all from what's coming. I mean, I know I'm not trying to save you. I'm trying to help you just be ready and have a fighting chance. It's a fighting chance. I hope you have a fighting chance. This is our fighting chance. It's not going to happen many other ways, and we're not going to get many chances at it to do. So if you listen to anything I say and you have any questions, please ask me to elaborate on it. The ability to try and explain cryptocurrency, the centralization of currencies and the decentralization of currencies associated with the the IMF and the Federal Reserve and the LBMA and all these SDRs, the globalization of the economic, socioeconomics coming together, that is almost impossible to do in a conversation, me walking around this property and holding a GoPro and talking to you in a few minutes. And I know this is going long, but you have to understand the end game is here. And they're doing it now. It's coming together. AI is coming together. The quantum computer construction's coming together. The destruction of the dollar is coming together. And the invocation of making these SDRs is all starting to happen now. It is imminent. It is happening. And unless you start becoming part of the system that is opposed, or hopefully, I'm hoping it is, opposed to this, we're really not going to have any other way to fight it. I know a lot of people think they can rise up in insurrections and stuff like that. That's not going to work. It's not. You can protect your stuff around here with that from marauders, but you're not going to protect yourself from those people who are doing this. The people at the top, they're beyond us. They're untouchable from us. But collectively, if we just do something else, not violent, but the way we use our lives and what we use to make our lives go, we don't have to follow their system. We don't. We can choose to follow another system, and it might be hard. It might not be like you can just go buy your fast food, value pack, supersized, and just have it at will. You might have to help yourself along the way. And that's why I'm saying you need to learn how to grow and be a farmer and a homesteader and a prepper and a landowner. You need to be able to do all of that stuff. And get your stuff now. Spend the dollars you have now on stuff that'll help you get there. Tools, land, infrastructure. It's coming. It's imminent. Be prepared. Good luck, everybody.